It's rabbit season.
Duck season.
Rabbit season.
Duck season.
Rabbit season.
It's duck season.
It's rabbit season.
Duck season.
Does it really matter? Today on Tofer's Take. Hey guys, it's me. I was actually my friend's Ray to help me out with that because, I cannot very well argue with myself, and that was a nod to some old Looney Tunes, Donald Duck and Bugs Bunny, if you're familiar with that sketch. And I thought that was a really good, intro to kind of what I want to talk about today, and that is, do some of the arguments we have really matter? I mean, are they really that important? And we can argue about some of the deep theological issues of our life. I was in a conversation earlier this week with one of my friends, and the topic came up, young earth versus old earth creationist. And I think there's evidence for both sides, and I'm not going to get into what I believe on that personally right now, maybe a little later, but does it really matter? Does it matter how God did it, or does it matter that God did it? Does it matter whether it was 6 literal days, or if it was 6, those day ages? Baptism is another topic. Well, do you sprinkle them? Do you dunk them once? Do you dunk them 3 times? Or do you just, hold them in the water till they really repent, And how do you do baptism, The Lord's Supper, communion, the Eucharist, is another topic that, is often debated. Well, does it have to be like, flatbread, or can it be wafers and grape juice or wine, or, is there a, definitive right way to do communion? Or should you just do it? You see, I think we focus on why we do some of this stuff, or how we focus on how we do some of this stuff, that we ignore the why. We ignore that it's, a heart condition. It's our relationship. We want to build community with Christ. And I know Paul says, have nothing to do with foolish arguments, and some of the stuff we argue about as Christians is, pretty foolish, in my view, in my opinion. But something else got me thinking. You see, in John chapter 3, I think around verse 12, Jesus is talking to Nicodemus, and Jesus said, if you cannot understand the basic earthly things, how can you understand spiritual things? You see, if we are so argumentative, if we are so debating, the itty-bitty, ways, to wash our hands properly, like the Pharisees, are we missing the deeper spiritual meaning that, yeah, we should wash our hands, but it's not about the actual act. It's about longing to be clean before God. Yeah, we should get baptized, but, it's not about whether you dunk them once or whether you sprinkle or you dunk them 3 times. It's an outward sign of inward change. Yeah, we should do communion, but I don't think the elements are the focus of the communion. And on a side note, I've actually done communion with Twinkies and root beer. There's a story behind that, but I'll tell you guys that later. You see, do we get so hung up on the details? And the devil's in the details, or at least the expression says, do we get so hung up on the details that we ignore the spiritual matter of things? Anyway, just some thoughts for you guys today. That's really all I got. Remember, like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. And next time before you get in one of those silly arguments, think, is this really an issue that is crucial to my salvation? Is this really an issue that might be worth losing a friend over? You guys take care. Catch you next week.